Picture this. A man walks right up to a coffee shop counter.
Okay, I am picturing it.
Yeah, so he has been standing in this line for like 10 whole minutes. And for those entire 10 minutes, he has been practicing his order in his head.
Oh, I know this feeling. The mental rehearsal.
Exactly, because he is an English learner, and he wants to get it exactly right. So he steps up to the register, he makes eye contact with the barista.
Uh-oh. The moment of truth.
Right, and his mind just races. He starts whispering to himself, can I have? Could I have? Would you give me?
Oh, he has too many options in his head.
Way too many. So the pressure builds, the barista's just staring at him, and suddenly he completely panics.
Oh, poor guy.
He forgets every single polite word he ever learned, and he just, he barks like a robot. He goes, coffee, black, 1.
Oh, wow, the classic coffee shop panic. I mean, I think every single person learning a new language has lived that exact nightmare.
Yeah, it is so relatable.
Your brain just completely freezes, and you sound like a demanding computer.
Exactly. The poor guy looked so embarrassed, and the barista was, pretty confused. And the tragic thing is, there is just one single tiny word that could have saved him. One little word that changes you from a demanding robot into a polite, natural English speaker.
And that word is the entire focus of our deep dive today.
It certainly is. So welcome, everyone, to English Refined. We are so thrilled you are here.
Yes, welcome. It is so great to have you listening.
This is the channel where we help beginners improve their speaking, their listening, and their daily English communication.
And we do not use boring textbooks here.
No, definitely not. We use simple explanations, real conversations, and we look at the feelings behind the language.
Exactly. So whether you are listening while cooking dinner or maybe walking to work or just taking a quiet moment for yourself, thank you for spending this time with us.
Yes, thank you. We are your friendly guides on this language journey, and we absolutely love teaching English together.
We really do. How was your weekend, by the way, before we jump in?
Oh, it was so nice. Just a really quiet weekend, relaxing at home. I spent a lot of time reading at my favorite coffee shop, actually, which is what made me think of that story.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I love a quiet weekend.
Yeah, it was great. But today, our mission is to unpack a word that terrifies so many learners.
Oh, it really does.
The word is would. W-O-U-L-D.
Such a small word.
I know, right? It is only 5 letters. But it carries so much emotional weight in English.
It does. It is heavy. And the reason learners freeze, just like the man in your coffee shop story, is because, well, textbooks usually just give you a list of rules.
Right. Like bullet points to memorize.
Exactly. They say, Rule 1, use would for requests. Rule 2, use would for the second conditional.
Ugh, the second conditional. That sounds so scary.
It does. And memorizing those lists, it does not help you when you're standing in a real cafe.
No, it does not. If you are trying to remember, like, rule number 2, subsection B, while a waiter is staring at you, you are going to panic.
You absolutely will.
So we are not doing that today. There is no heavy grammar memorization in this session.
None at all. Instead, we're going to look at how the word would actually feels. Because before you learn rules, you need to understand the feeling.
I love that, how a word feels. Let's break that down for the listener.
Okay, let's do a feeling test. Listener, I want you to pay attention to this.
Yeah, listen closely.
If I just look at a dictionary, would is the past tense of will. But that definition does not help me order coffee.
Not at all. Forget the dictionary.
Right. So listen carefully to this first sentence. Imagine I look you right in the eyes and I say, I will help you.
Okay, I will help you.
How does that feel to receive?
Well, I will help you. It feels very strong.
Strong, right?
Yeah, it feels like a solid wall. It is 100% certain, direct, and factual.
Like a guarantee.
Exactly. There is no room for doubt.
Perfect. Will is a fact. Now, listen to the second sentence. I look at you and I say, I would help you.
Wow, the feeling completely shifts.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would help you. It feels softer. It is not a solid wall anymore.
What is it like then?
It is like a door that is halfway open. It leaves a little space. It makes me think, you want to help me, but maybe there is a condition. Maybe you don't have time.
Yes, space is the perfect word. The word would creates distance.
Distance. That is interesting.
I like to think of wood as a warm, soft blanket.
A warm blanket.
You wrap this blanket around your sharp, direct words so they do not cut the other person. You soften the edges.
Okay, I have to push back on that a little bit, actually.
Right, go ahead.
I hear this warm blanket idea a lot, but honestly, isn't it kind of fake?
Fake. How so?
Well, isn't it just passive-aggressive? If a boss looks at an employee and says, would you finish that report by 5 o'clock? The boss is still giving an order.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah.
The employee cannot say no. So isn't the boss just wearing a polite mask over a direct command?
That is a brilliant observation. And it gets to the absolute core of English culture.
So it is a mask.
You are right. It is a mask. But in English, that mask is a sign of deep respect. Let me explain why.
Please do, because I know a lot of learners find English people too indirect.
Right. So many languages like French, Spanish, or German have two words for you.
Right, like usted and tú in Spanish.
Exactly. Or vous and tu in French. The language itself is a built-in way to show respect and distance for strangers or bosses.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Right. English does not have that. We only have one word.
You.
Just you, for everyone.
We call the president you, and we call our pet dog you.
That is so true. I never thought about the dog.
So because we do not have formal pronouns, we had to invent another way to show respect. We use modal words like would to create psychological distance.
Wow. Okay, that is a massive light bulb moment. Because we only have one you, we have to use would to build that respectful space.
Exactly. It is not about being fake. It is about acknowledging the other person's freedom.
So even the boss is showing respect. Yes. When the boss says, would you finish that report, the boss is creating a tiny, imaginary space where the employee could say no, even if they actually can't.
That imaginary space is what we call politeness.
Precisely.
Okay, keeping that deep insight in mind, listener, let's look at how we actually build these spaces in daily life. Let's start with section 1, making polite requests.
Asking other people to do things for you. This is where direct English can really hurt feelings.
It really can.
Yeah.
So a request is when you need action from someone else. Imagine you are in an office. It is very hot.
Oh, summer in an office with no air conditioning. The worst.
And the absolute worst. So you look at your coworker and you say, close the window.
Ouch.
Right. Or you are at a restaurant and you say to the waiter, give me the menu. Let me ask you, the listener,
Yeah.
how do those words feel? Close the window. Give me the menu.
They feel heavy. They feel like a boss commanding a worker.
Yeah, very bossy.
The listener understands your meaning, yes, but they feel pushed. And no one likes to be pushed.
Right. If you say, give me the menu to a waiter, you sound like a hungry bear demanding food.
A hungry bear, yes.
We do not want to sound like bears. So how do we use our new tool to fix this?
We use the structure, would you, plus the base verb.
The base verb. Let's explain that simply for our beginners.
The base verb is just the raw engine of the action. No changes, no ing at the end, no to at the beginning. Just the pure verb. Give, close, open.
Okay, so instead of the heavy, give me the menu, I take the verb give and I wrap it in the blanket. Would you give me the menu, please?
Perfect. Listen to the melody of that, listener.
Yeah.
Would you give me the menu, please? The sharp edge is completely gone.
It really is. And instead of the bossy, close the window, you say,
Would you close the window, please?
Yes. You are standing back. You are offering them the choice to help you rather than forcing them.
Exactly. Now, I know there is an even higher level of politeness.
Oh, yes. A master level trick.
A master trick for when you need a very big favor or when you are talking to someone very important.
Ah, yes. The would you mind trick. Listener, this is the ultimate polite phrase in English. It is so soft, it almost floats.
But the mechanics are slightly different here.
They are. You say, would you mind, and then you must change the verb. You must add ing to the end of it.
Let's break down exactly why that is. Because we promised no boring rule memorization. Why do we suddenly need ing?
It is because of the word mind. In this context, mind means to be bothered by or to have a problem with.
Right. Do you have a problem with this?
Exactly. And you can only be bothered by a thing or a concept. You cannot be bothered by an action directly. By adding ing, we turn the action into a concept.
Oh, I see. So help is an action, but helping is a concept.
Yes. So you are literally asking, do you have a problem with the concept of helping me?
Precisely. You are asking about their feelings first before you even ask for the action. Would you mind helping me? It is incredibly considerate.
I have a fantastic real-world example of how powerful this is.
Oh, I love real examples. Tell me.
I had a student a few years ago. She was brilliant, but very shy about her English. She was in a final job interview for a major corporate position.
Job interviews are high stakes. Very stressful.
So stressful. She was sitting in a big leather chair, heart pounding, talking to the director of the company. She needed to ask about the salary. how much money she would make.
Oh, that is the most terrifying moment of any interview. You do not want to sound greedy, but you need the information.
Exactly. If she asked directly, how much will you pay me? It would sound aggressive.
Very aggressive.
If she asked, what is the salary? It sounds a bit cold. But she remembered this trick. She took a breath, looked at the director, and asked, would you mind telling me a little bit about the salary range?
That is masterful.
Yeah.
Absolutely masterful.
Right. The director smiled, leaned back, and happily discussed the money. The phrase, would you mind telling me, completely shifted the power dynamic.
It showed she was professional, respectful, but also confident enough to ask the hard questions.
That is the power of English modal verbs. They are social tools.
Okay, let's put our listener in the hot seat.
Yes, practice time.
We want you to practice the physical feeling of these words in your mouth. Let's do a quick role play.
I love the hot seat. Listener, imagine we are at work. I am your coworker. I am carrying a giant, heavy stack of papers, and I am walking toward a closed door.
Okay, painting the picture.
I look at you. How do you ask me politely if I need you to open the door? Wait, no, I'm the one carrying the papers. I need to ask you.
Right, you need the help.
Yes, how do I say it? Let's give the listener the challenge.
Listener, I want you to tell the host to open the door, but do it as a gentle request. Use would you. Say it out loud right now.
We'll give you a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. If you felt a little awkward forming those sounds in your mouth, that is completely normal.
Very normal. Your muscles have to get used to the shape of the English words.
If you said, would you open the door, please? You nailed it.
Now let's raise the stakes. You need a huge favor from your boss. You need to leave work early on Friday.
Oh, the Friday early leave.
Ask your boss, using the master level trick, would you mind? Remember the rule about adding ing to the verb let? Try it out loud, listener.
Take a breath and try it.
Fuck.
That is a tough one. The verb is let, so it becomes letting. Would you mind letting me leave early on Friday?
If you can say that smoothly, you can navigate any corporate office in the world.
Absolutely. So we have mastered asking people to do things for us, but what about the opposite?
Right. What happens when we want to do something for them? We are moving to Section 2, offers and invitations.
This is a beautiful part of human connection. An offer is when you want to give someone a gift, like food or a drink. An invitation is when you want to give them an experience, like coming to your house.
And just like requests, the way you frame it changes everything. Let's talk about hosting guests.
Yes, please.
In many cultures, feeding a guest is the highest form of respect. But when beginners host English speakers, they often open their front door, smile, and ask, do you want coffee?
I hear that all the time. Do you want coffee? It is not incorrect grammar. The message is clear. But why does it feel just a tiny bit wrong?
Because the word want is a biological urge.
A biological urge?
Yeah, it is a primal animal feeling. A dog wants a bone. A baby wants a toy.
Oh, I see.
When you ask, do you want coffee, you are asking a very direct question about their biological desires. It lacks that civilized, respectful distance we talked about earlier.
So we wrap it in our polite blanket. Instead asking about their primal desire, we ask about their polite preference. Would you like some coffee?
Would you like some coffee? It sounds so much warmer. It sounds like you are hosting a lovely dinner party, not interrogating them.
And this works exactly the same way when we are the ones answering. I remember a learner asking me a very frustrated question once.
What do they ask?
They said, I am at a restaurant. I am paying for the food. Is it really so wrong to tell the waiter, I want water?
Oh, that is a great question. What did you tell them?
I told them it is not a crime. The waiter will bring you the water. They will not throw you out of the restaurant.
True.
But I want water sounds like a toddler who is about to throw a tantrum. It sounds like a child demanding attention.
It does. I want is demanding. I would like is requesting. And remember, the waiter is a professional doing a job. Showing them respect by saying, I would like some water, please, makes the entire transaction pleasant for everyone.
It is the golden rule of hospitality. The host asks, what would you like? And the guest answers, I would like.
We can use this for actions, too. We just add the little bridge word, to. So, would you like +2 plus the verb? Would you like to come over for tea tomorrow?
I would love to. It flows so naturally.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about something that trips up a lot of learners with this specific phrase.
Let's hear.
When you watch a Hollywood movie or you go to a busy cafe in New York or London, native speakers do not speak clearly.
Oh, definitely not. We are terrible at that.
They do not say, what would You like?
No, we are lazy with our mouths. We smash the words together.
Exactly. It sounds like one giant messy word. Whatcha would ya like? Or just would ya like? How can a listener train their ear for this?
You have to listen for the rhythm, not the individual letters. The would you usually blends into a would you sound.
Would you?
Yeah. Would you like some coffee?
Ah,
The D and the Y crash into each other and make a J sound.
that is a great tip. Let's do a quick lightning round to practice this. Listener, I am going to be the fast-talking barista from our opening story.
Oh, the panicked coffee shop guy.
Yes, but you, listener, are the customer. You are not going to panic this time. You are going to order your favorite drink with total confidence. Ready?
Step up to the counter, listener.
Hi there. Busy morning today. What would you like to drink?
Answer out loud. Start with, I would like.
Go ahead. I hope you just confidently ordered a beautiful cappuccino or a green tea, or maybe just a simple black coffee. I would like a black coffee, please.
Notice how much better that feels than barking, coffee, black, one.
You have reclaimed your dignity in the coffee shop. But what happens if the barista says, we are out of black coffee? We have espresso or we have cold brew. Now, you have to choose.
Which perfectly transitions us into section 3, expressing preferences.
Expressing preferences. A preference is simply when your brain weighs two options and decides it likes one slightly more than the other.
When you have choices, would acts like a polite scale. It tips gently to one side. We use phrases like would rather, would prefer, or would love.
But before we dive into the psychology of choices, I have to point out another native speaker habit.
We have so many bad habits.
We really do. Learners study the phrase, I would rather, in a book, but when they talk to an American or a Brit, they almost never hear the word would. They hear a tiny, almost invisible sound, I'd rather.
Ah, yes, the contraction I'd, apostrophe D.
Explain the physical mechanics of this, because learners try to say I'd, and it sometimes comes out sounding like hide or I'd.
It is all about the tongue. I'd is just the natural, hyper-fast way of saying I would. We cut out the W, the O, the U, and the L. All that is left is the D.
Just the D.
So physically, you say the word I, and at the very end, the tip of your tongue just lightly taps the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. IDI.
It is just a tap. I'd love to. It is like the word would is so soft, it almost completely disappears into the sentence.
Exactly. It means the exact same thing. It's just faster. Let's use this in a game. Have you ever played the game Would You Rather?
Oh, I love this game. It is the best way to start a deep conversation at a dinner party. You give someone two impossible choices and they have to pick one.
Let's play a few rounds right now. We will analyze the language as we go. I will start. I'm going to give you two food choices.
Okay, I am ready.
Would you rather eat pizza every day for the rest of your life or eat sushi every day for the rest of your life?
Oh, wow. That is a philosophical crisis. Pizza is comforting, but sushi is fresh. I think. I tap my tongue. I'd rather eat sushi.
Let's pause and look at what you just did. You said, I'd rather eat sushi. Why is that a better phrase than I choose sushi or sushi is better?
Because saying sushi is better sounds like a universal fact. It sounds like I am insulting the pizza.
Right, and you don't want to insult pizza.
Never. By saying I would rather and making it deeply personal, it means in my specific personal reality, my preference leans towards sushi. It is gentle.
Exactly. It protects the feelings of the pizza lovers in the room. Let's do another round. Listener, play along with this one.
Ooh, a question for the listener.
Would you rather have the ability to time travel to the past or time travel to the future?
Oh, that is heavy. Past or future. Think about it, listener. And when you have your answer, say it out loud using the contraction. I'd rather travel to...
Say it now. I think I'd rather travel to the past. I would love to see how ancient cities were built.
See, I disagree. I would rather travel to the future. I want to see if we ever get flying cars.
Both are great answers. Now, how does this apply to real life? We rarely get offered time travel.
Unfortunately.
But we frequently get offered invitations we do not want to accept.
Oh, this is a crucial social survival skill. How to say no without destroying a friendship.
Let's say it is Friday night. It has been a terrible, exhausting week at work. Your friend calls you, full of energy.
Hey, it is Friday. Let's celebrate. Would you like to go to that loud, crowded new restaurant downtown?
Now, internally, your brain is screaming, absolutely not. I want to wear my pajamas and sleep.
Yes. But if I say, no, I don't want to go, I crush my friend's enthusiasm. I sound angry.
So you use the polite scale. You tip it towards your pajamas.
I take a breath and say, oh, thank you so much for the offer, but honestly, I'm exhausted. I'd prefer to stay home and watch a movie tonight.
Or you could say, I'd rather not go out into the crowds tonight.
That is verbal magic. I'd prefer to stay home, or I'd rather not. You were rejecting the activity, but you're not rejecting the person.
The would softens the no so beautifully that your friend will probably say, oh, I totally understand. Let's do it next week.
You save the friendship, and you get to sleep. That is a win-win.
It really is. Okay, so far we have used would for politeness in the real world. But now, in Section 4, we are going to cross a boundary. We are going to leave the real world behind entirely.
Oh, this is my absolute favorite part of the English language.
They're stepping into the realm of imaginary situations, dreams, and conditionals. Would is the golden key that unlocks the imagination.
Think about it, listener. Reality is what is happening right now. I'm sitting in a chair. You are listening to audio. That is a fact. We use will or present tense for facts. But the human brain is amazing because it can simulate realities that do not exist.
Yes, we can dream. And when we talk about those dreams, we cannot use factual words. We need a word that signals to the listener, hey, what I'm about to say is not real. It is a fantasy.
For example, I live in a busy city right now. Sirens, traffic, noise. But I can close my eyes and imagine a different life. I can say, I would love to live in a quiet wooden cabin by the sea.
The moment you say, I would love, my brain knows you do not actually live in that cabin. It is a dream.
Or think about a commuter who drives 2 hours in traffic every single day. They grip the steering wheel and sigh, it would be amazing to work from home.
It is not a fact. It is a beautiful fantasy. And the ultimate way to explore this fantasy is a classic conversational game we call the lottery question.
The lottery question. A lottery, for our beginners, is a game of pure luck where you buy a ticket and if your numbers match, you win an unbelievable amount of money. Millions of dollars.
It almost never happens, so it is the perfect imaginary scenario.
So let me ask you the famous question. What would you do if you won $10 million tomorrow?
Ooh, $10 million.
Yeah. What is the plan?
Okay, if I won $10 million, honestly, the very first thing I would do is buy a villa in the Italian countryside. I would spend my days making pasta from scratch, and I would adopt at least 10 stray dogs to run around the olive trees.
Pasta and puppies in Italy, that is perfect.
What about you? What is your $10 million dream?
Well, the first thing I would do is sleep for 2 weeks straight without setting an alarm.
Naturally.
And then I would buy a tiny commercial space in a quiet neighborhood, and I would open a very specific plant shop.
A plant shop?
Yeah, it would only sell green ferns and old books. It would make absolutely no money, and I wouldn't care.
That sounds like a deeply peaceful life.
Now, listener, let's pull back the curtain and look at the grammar engine that powered those dreams, because there is a very weird, specific role happening here.
Yes, this is called the second conditional.
Okay, let's keep it simple. What does that mean?
The basic structure is a bridge with two sides. On one side, you have the imaginary condition, if I had, plus a thing. On the other side, you have the imaginary result, I would, plus an action.
If I had $10 million, I would open a plant shop. So the if sets up the fake world, and the would describes what happens inside that fake world.
Exactly. But here is the trick that confuses even advanced learners. Sometimes the condition is not about having something. It is about being something.
Being something. Okay.
And when we use the verb to be in this imaginary dream space, the rules of reality break down.
Explain that, because it sounds crazy. What do you mean the rules break down?
Well, in normal, factual English, what is the past tense of I am? It is I was. I was tired yesterday. He was at the store.
Right. I was, he was, she was. That is basic grammar.
But when we enter the dream space, when we use if, we do not use was. We throw was in the garbage.
In the garbage.
Yes. We use were for absolutely everybody. I, he, she, it, they all get were.
Wait, really? So I don't say if I was the boss?
Correct. You say if I were the boss, I would give everyone a 3-day weekend. You say if you were a bird, he would fly away.
Why? Why do we break the fundamental rule of I was?
It goes back to very old English grammar called the subjunctive mood. But you don't need to memorize that term. Just think of it like this. Because the situation is completely fake, the grammar itself becomes a little bit fake or unnatural to signal the imagination.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Saying if I were is like putting up a giant neon sign that says, warning, entering Fantasyland.
Warning, entering Fantasyland. I love that. If I were the boss. If it were summer right now. It feels poetic. Let's invite the listener into Fantasyland. We have a hot seat question for you.
Listener, close your eyes well, unless you are driving.
Yes. Please keep your eyes open if you are driving.
Use your imagination. If you could teleport anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? Start your answer with the magic words. I would go to, pause, think about the country or the city, and then say it out loud.
We will wait. Did you feel the magic of the word? Maybe you said, I would go to Tokyo to eat ramen, or I would go to the Swiss Alps to see the snow. By using would, you just built an entire imaginary vacation in your mind.
It is the closest thing humans have to teleportation. Okay, so we have used would to imagine the future, but interestingly, we can also use this exact same word to travel in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Yes, we can use it to travel into the past. This is section 5, telling stories and past habits.
This is a fascinating shift. We are moving from the dream space to the memory space. When we want to tell a story about our history, our childhood, or our family, would becomes our best tool.
Specifically, we use it to talk about things we did again and again and again in the past. Habits, routines.
Let me give you an example. When I was a little kid growing up in the suburbs, every summer evening, the neighborhood kids would gather in the street. We would play baseball until the streetlights came on. Then my mother would call me inside for dinner.
Notice the rhythm of that story, listener. We would gather. We would play. My mother would call.
It sounds like a heartbeat.
It really does. It paints a deeply nostalgic, warm picture in the listener's mind.
But wait, I want to put on my confused learner hat for a second.
Put it on.
If I am a learner, I might look at you and say, why do I need to learn this? I already learned the phrase used to. I can just say, I used to play baseball. My mother used to call me. Isn't that the exact same thing?
That is the most common question I get from intermediate students. And the answer is yes. Factually, the information is the same. But emotionally, they are completely different.
How so?
I use a specific analogy for this. Used to is like reading a dry history book.
Wait.
It's like watching a warm movie.
A history book versus a movie. Elaborate on that.
If you say, I used to play baseball, you are just giving me a piece of data. It is a simple fact about your past that is no longer true today. It is efficient, but it is a little bit cold.
Right.
But when you say, we would play baseball until the streetlights came on, you were inviting me into the scene. I can almost smell the summer air. I can see the lights turning on. Would implies a rhythm of repeated action that feels deeply human and emotional.
So used to is the Wikipedia summary of my life. Would is the cinematic flashback sequence.
Exactly. But there is a massive, incredibly important rule here, a trap that many learners fall into. You cannot just replace used to with would in every sentence. There is a strict boundary.
What is the boundary? We don't want the listener falling into a trap.
Used to is a universal tool. It can be used for both actions, things your body does, like running or playing, and states.
States? Like the United States?
No, states of being. Things you are, like your feelings, your appearance, or facts of existence. But would is extremely picky. Would only works for repeated actions. It requires the engine of movement. You cannot use would for a state of being.
This is a bit abstract. Let's break it down with concrete examples. Give me a state of being.
Let's talk about personality. Being a shy person is a state of being. It is an internal condition. It is not an action you perform with your hands. Therefore, it is correct to say, when I was young, I used to be shy. It is a fact from the history book.
What happens if I try to use the movie version? What if I say, when I was young, I would be shy?
It sounds completely bizarre to a native speaker. It sounds like you woke up every morning and consciously acted out the physical movements of shyness as a hobby. I would be shy on Tuesdays. It doesn't make sense. You can't repeatedly do a state.
Because would implies a repeated action, and you can't repeatedly action a personality trait. Let's try another one. What about physical locations or buildings?
Great example. A building existing is a state. It just stands there. So you can point to a grocery store and say, this building used to be a cinema? Fact? History book. But you cannot say, this building would be a cinema.
Right, because that sounds like the building magically transformed into a cinema every weekend and then turned back into a grocery store on Monday.
Precisely. Would needs the engine of action. I would run. We would eat. They would laugh. Not I would be.
Let's test the listener on this, because it takes a second for the brain to categorize states versus actions. Listener, we are going to reminisce. We're going to look back at our college days. I'm going to give you a memory. You decide if it is a state which needs used to or an action which can take would.
Here's the first memory. Think about hair length. Back in college, I used to have very short hair. Listeners, having short hair a state or an action.
Does your hair actively perform a routine? No. Having short hair is a state. It's how you look. So we absolutely must say used to. I used to have short hair. If you say I would have short hair, it sounds like you wore a short wig every Friday.
Exactly. Okay, memory number 2. My friends and I would meet at the campus cafe every single morning. Listener, is meeting at a cafe a state or an action?
Think about the physical effort. You wake up, you put on your coat, you walk across campus, you sit down. Meeting is a clear action. Because it is a repeated action in the past, we can fire up the cinematic movie engine. We would meet at the cafe. It brings the memory to life.
Okay, this brings us to section 6, which covers one of the most mind-bending, almost science fiction uses of the word.
I am ready.
We are moving to the concept of the future and the past. Some grammar books call this reported speech, but I think that is a boring title.
I agree. Future in the past sounds like a Christopher Nolan movie. It sounds like time travel, but it is actually something we use in daily life constantly, especially when people break their promises.
Explain the mechanics of this time travel. How can the future be in the past?
Let's draw a timeline in our minds. Imagine 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Right now, you and I are standing on Wednesday. Today is Wednesday.
Got it. I am standing on Wednesday.
Now point your finger backward to Monday. On Monday, your friend looked at you and made a promise. He said, I will call you on Tuesday.
Right. When he was standing on Monday, Tuesday was his future. So he correctly used the strong, factual word will. I will call you.
Exactly. But now, it is Wednesday. The promised phone call is in the past. It is over. You were talking to another friend about what happened. You have to report Monday's conversation. You cannot use will anymore because Tuesday is no longer the future.
The future is broken.
Yes, it is a past future. So the word will bends and transforms into would. You say, he said he would call me.
Wow. He said he would call me. I am standing in the present looking back at a past expectation of a future that already happened. My brain hurts a little, but it makes total logical sense.
It is the grammar of broken expectations. We use it all the time for disappointment. Let's say you take an English test. On Sunday, before the test, you look at the textbook and you confidently think, this test will be easy.
Because it is the future, and I am certain.
Right. But on Monday, you take the test. It is a disaster. It is incredibly hard. On Tuesday, you complain to me. What do you say?
I look back at my foolish past self, and I say, man, I thought it would be easy.
I thought it would be easy, but reality showed you it was hard. Your past expectation was that it would be easy.
This is so emotionally powerful. Let's do role play to let the listener hear the feelings behind this grammar. Let's role play a misunderstanding between two friends. Listener, pay attention to the frustration and the excuses.
I will be the bad friend. I didn't show up to help you move to your new apartment.
Hey, where are you? I waited for 3 hours. You said you would help me today.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I looked at the dark clouds this morning and I thought it would rain, so I just stayed home.
Let's pause the role play and dissect those emotions. You said you would help me. That sentence is loaded with betrayal. It shows my expectation based on your past promise.
And my excuse. I thought it would rain. I am explaining my past belief about the future weather. It didn't actually rain, but in my past reality, I thought it would.
This is a high-level communication skill. Once a learner can use would to express disappointment, they are truly thinking in English.
Let's shift from disappointment to something a bit more delicate. Section 7, softening opinions and advice.
Oh, this is important. English speakers, generally speaking, are terrified of sounding bossy or arrogant.
It is true. We do not like telling people what to do directly. It feels rude. We have an unwritten social rule that everyone should be free to make their own choices. So when we want to share an opinion, we have to soften it. We have to use that polite blanket again.
Imagine you are shopping with a friend. Your friend tries on a coat. It is not a good coat. And the price tag is $500.
If I am a blunt, direct person, I just point at it and say, it is too expensive. But that is a strong, factual statement. It sounds like I am the ultimate authority on money and fashion. It shuts down the conversation.
Right. It leaves no room for your friend to say, well, I actually like it. So instead of declaring a fact, you use would to frame it as just one tiny perspective. You say, I would say it's too expensive.
I would say, that is a fascinating phrase. It means if you forced me to give an opinion, this is the opinion I would give, but you are free to disagree. It is so gentle.
Or if your colleague pitches an idea in a meeting, instead of slamming the table and shouting, I think that's a brilliant idea, which can sound a bit aggressive, you can smoothly say, I would think that's a good idea. It introduces agreement without ego.
Now, this is the perfect moment to address the elephant in the room, the triplet of confusion. There are three words in English that look the same, end with the exact same letters, sound very similar, and drive learners absolutely crazy.
Ah, yes. Would, could, and should. W-O-U-L-D. C-O-U-L-D. S-H-O-U-L-D.
They are the modal triplets. And because they sound similar, learners often mix them up, but they carry vastly different emotional weights. Mixing them up can lead to some very awkward social situations.
We need to give the listener a memory trick, a mental map, to keep these three separated forever. Let's break them down one by one, using simple associations.
Let's start with the hero of our episode, would. What is the memory trick for would?
Think of the two W's, warm and wish. Would is about warm, polite requests and personal wishes or dreams. I would like some tea. I would love to visit Japan. Warm and wish.
Warm and wish. Got it. What about the second one? Could.
Think of the two C's, chance and choice. Could is all about possibilities. It means maybe. It presents an open door that someone can walk through or ignore. It is a gentle option. You can try meditating to reduce stress. It is just a chance, a choice.
Chance and choice. Excellent. And the final, most dangerous one, should.
Think of the two S's, smart and suggested. Should is strong advice. It implies moral authority or a clear expectation. It is smart to do this. You should drink more water. You should look both ways before crossing the street.
Should is dangerous because it can sound like a parent scolding a child. Let me share a cautionary tale, a warning story about the dangers of should. I read an incredible story from an English teacher. She had a 13-year-old student, a young girl who had just arrived in the country. The girl was trying very hard to learn polite English.
Bless her heart. What happened?
The teacher was doing an exercise on asking for things. The teacher held up a bright yellow pencil and said to the young girl, "Okay, use your new English words. Ask me for this pencil politely."
The girl's brain probably panicked, searching for the polite modal verbs would, could, should.
Exactly. She chose the wrong one. She looked the teacher dead in the eye, very seriously, and said, "You should give me that pencil."
Oh, no. That is so funny.
The entire classroom erupted in laughter. The teacher tried not to laugh. The poor girl thought she was saying, "It would be lovely if you gave me the pencil." But because she used should, it sounded like a threat. It sounded like she was saying, "It is morally smart and highly suggested that you surrender that pencil to me immediately or else."
That is a brilliant, hilarious example of how these words change the power dynamic. Should place the 13-year-old girl in the position of authority over the teacher.
Exactly. So let's test the listener. Listener, we want you to navigate a tricky social scenario. Let's say your best friend is working 80 hours a week. They are exhausted, their eyes have dark circles, and they are burning out. You want to suggest they take a break? Let's listen to how the three words change the relationship.
Scenario 1. You look at your tired friend and say, "You should take a break." How does that feel to the friend?
It feels like a doctor giving an order. It is bossy. It might make the friend defensive. "Don't tell me what I should do. You don't know my workload."
Okay, scenario 2. You look at them and say, "You could take a break."
That is very gentle. It is the chance and choice. It is like opening a door. But maybe it is a little too weak. The friend might say, "Yeah, I could, but I won't."
Right, so scenario 3. You use our warm and wish word, but you frame it from your own perspective. You say, "Man, I would take a break if I were you."
Wow. I would take a break if I were you. That is the golden phrase. It is supportive. It removes the bossiness because you are not telling them what to do. You are simply stating what you would do in their shoes. It is an act of deep empathy.
Empathy is exactly what it is. Listener, I want you to practice that empathy out loud. Imagine your tired friend standing in front of you. Put a gentle, supportive tone in your voice and say, "I would take a break if I were you." Go ahead.
Give it a try. That is fantastic advice for life, not just for English. Now, as we near the end of our deep dive, we need to address Section 8. Common mistakes to avoid. We have talked a lot about feelings, but there are a few physical rules, a few common mistakes that break the engine.
Yes. We want you to sound totally natural, which means avoiding 4 very specific traps that learners fall into. But we aren't just going to give you a list of don'ts. We are going to explain why these mistakes break the machine.
Mistake number 1, using would for certain plans. I hear learners say things like, "I bought my ticket, my bags are packed, I would go to London tomorrow." Why does that sound wrong?
Because would is the word of the imagination. It is the dream space, the half-open door. If you bought a ticket and packed your bags, you are not dreaming anymore. You are in reality. When an action is 100% certain and scheduled in the real world, you cannot use a dream word. You must use the reality word, will. I will go to London tomorrow. Keep would for the dreams and will for the plans.
That makes perfect sense. Mistake number 2, forgetting the condition. Sometimes learners learn that would is polite, so they just throw it into a sentence by itself. They walk into a room and say, I would travel more, and then they stop talking.
Yes, and the native speaker just stands there, waiting. Because would is a bridge. A bridge must connect two pieces of land. If you say, I would travel more, you've only built half the bridge. The listener's brain is desperately waiting for the other half the condition.
Ah, the if.
Exactly. You must finish the thought. I would travel more if I had more vacation days, or if flights were cheaper. You cannot leave the bridge hanging in the air.
I love the bridge analogy. Okay, mistake number 3. This might be the most common mechanical error of all. Adding the word to directly after would. A learner will say, I am hungry. I would to eat a sandwich.
I would to eat. It hurts the ears slightly, doesn't it? Let's explain the hidden mechanics of why this is wrong. In English, normal verbs like want or need or decide require the word to before the next action. I want to eat. I need to sleep. That is the standard rule.
Right, the infinitive form.
But would is not a normal verb. Would, could, should, will, can. These are a special elite class of words called modal auxiliary verbs. Think of them like specialized engine attachments. They are designed to plug directly into the raw power of the main verb. The word to acts like a piece of tape blocking the connection. You cannot use it. You must plug would directly into the raw verb.
No tape blocking the connection. So it is never I would to go. It is always direct. I would go, I would eat, I would sleep. It is actually easier. You have to do less work. Just drop the to.
Exactly. Less work is better. And finally, mistake number 4, using would for a single past event. This goes back to our history book versus movie analogy.
Right. A learner might try to sound advanced and say, I was so hungry I would eat a whole pizza yesterday.
And why does that break the rule? Because yesterday, eating a pizza is a one-time event. It is a single dot on the timeline. Remember, would in the past tense is the cinematic movie projector. It is for things that spin round and round over and over. Every Friday, I would eat pizza. That works. But for a single finished event yesterday, you just use the simple past.
The history book fact. I ate pizza yesterday. Boom. Finished.
Oh, boom. Finished. Those are the 4 structural traps. If you can understand the mechanics behind them, the bridge, the direct connection, the movie projector, your English will instantly level up.
But, and this is crucial, I want to say something directly to the listener. If you are listening to this and feeling overwhelmed by all these analogies and rules, take a deep breath.
Yes. Please, let us reassure you. The English language is a messy, chaotic, beautiful accident of history. Native speakers break these rules every single day. We talk too fast, we use the wrong words, we mumble. If you accidentally say, I want to go, in a coffee shop, no one is going to arrest you. The barista is still going to give you your coffee.
The ultimate goal is not to be a perfect grammar robot. The goal is to connect with another human being, to share a laugh, to order a meal, to ask for help. A warm smile and a broken English sentence are always better than a perfect sentence spoken with fear. English is about connection, not perfection.
Connection, not perfection. That should be printed on the front of every English textbook in the world.
It really should. Well, my friend, we have reached the end of our journey today. We have traveled from the panic of a coffee shop to the depths of the imagination. Let's do a quick, high-level review of what we built today.
We took a word that terrified people and we turned it into a tool. We learned that would is a warm blanket that creates a polite, respectful distance between people. We used it to soften our requests. Would you pass the salt? We used it to make elegant offers. What would you like to drink?
We used the tiny tap of the tongue, the contraction I, to gently express our preferences and save our friendships. I'd rather stay home. We crossed the boundary into the dream space, breaking the rules of grammar to imagine alternative realities. If I were the boss, I would buy everyone lunch.
We fired up the cinematic movie projector to tell warm, nostalgic stories of our past habits. When I was young, we would play outside. And finally, we used to express the empathy of a good friend. I would take a break if I were you.
You have absorbed so much high-level psychology and grammar today. We are so proud of you for sticking with us, for practicing out loud, and for being brave enough to learn something new.
Before we let you go, we always like to leave our listeners with a provocative thought, a little mental puzzle to mull over and explore on your own. We call it your homework question, but it's fun homework, I promise.
Since we spent so much time today talking about the imagination and the dream space, we want to ask you the ultimate would question. Think carefully about this. If you could have any might superpower in the entire world, what would you choose, and what exactly would you do with it?
A superpower, like flying or reading minds or turning invisible. There are so many choices. What was your choice again?
I've thought long and hard about this. I would choose the ability to talk to plants. I know it sounds silly, but I walk around my garden and I would ask my ferns, are you thirsty today? Do you need more sunshine? Why are your leaves turning yellow? I would be the ultimate plant whisperer.
That is incredibly specific and very peaceful.
What about you? If you could break the laws of physics, what would you choose?
If I had a superpower, I would choose to instantly speak and understand every single language in human history perfectly.
An omniglot.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I had that power, I would travel to every tiny village on Earth. I would sit in cafes from Mongolia to Peru, and I would just listen to people's stories. I would never need a translation app again.
That is the ultimate, slightly nerdy English teacher superpower, and I absolutely love it. Now, listener, the spotlight is on you. This is your mission for the rest of the day. Think about your superpower.
And don't just think about it in your native language. We encourage you to literally write your answer down on a piece of paper in English. Use the bridge structure. If I had a superpower, I would.
Write it down. Then, when you are alone in your room or driving in your car, say it out loud. Let your mouth feel the shape of the words. Practice building that imaginary reality.
Practicing just a little bit every single day is how the language moves from your brain into your muscles. Thank you so much for your time, your focus, and your dedication today. Learning a language is an act of bravery, and you are doing amazing work.
We invite you to continue this incredible English learning journey with us here at English Refined. Remember, English is not a wall of terrifying rules. It is just a series of tools used to connect human beings. It is easier than you think when you learn it naturally, step by step, and understand the why. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we will see you next time.